to United News, where you can get the truth about what's going on. Hi, I'm Patrick Aabram. At Hardy Elementary, it is a 16-year-old tradition to visit Gray's Notch State Park in April for a program known as A Week in the Woods. There has never been a problem with this trip until this year. Today, we visit Gray's Notch State Park, New Hampshire, home of the mighty Gray's Peak, to investigate a story about a fifth grader surviving a night in the woods. Kathy Aabram has more on this story. Kathy?
Thanks, Patrick. We're here live at Gray's Notch State Park, where fifth grader Mark Chelmsley has just returned from the woods, where he was missing for the entire night. Last night, Mark was reported walking toward Barker Falls Trail to escape being expelled from the program and possibly school.
Expelled? What could he possibly do to get himself expelled?
Mark was seen holding a tool with a knife attachment when Mr. Maxwell had entered the cabin. The school district has a zero tolerance policy when it comes to weapons at school, including all school-sponsored events.
Has anything like this ever happened before?
No, to my knowledge, no one has ever been expelled from the program.
What happened after Mark was found with the knife?
Mark was told that he was going to be driven home and to wait in Mr. Maxwell's car. When Mr. Maxwell discovered that the tool was not Mark's, he went to the car to get Mark out, and he was not there.
The weapon in question was not Mark's?
Apparently it belonged to a classmate. The classmate's name was engraved on the handle of the weapon.
So what happened when Mr. Maxwell discovered that Mark was missing?
When Mr. Maxwell didn't find Mark, he quickly asked teachers and chaperones if they had seen him. Mr. Leghorn, a teacher, had last seen him near Barker Trail. Mr. Maxwell, who was also a tracking expert, began his search on Barker Trail. After a series of mishaps, he eventually found Mark, and they spent the night in the woods together.
Why did it take all night for them to return?
At one point, Mark went off the main Barker Trail in search of a shortcut back to camp. Unfortunately, he got lost. We have more on that part of the story from John Aabram.
I'm here with Mr. Maxwell. How did you get hurt?
Well, it was me being stupid, that's how. I tried to get back to the trail before Mark so I could get him before nightfall, but I noticed that Mark had gone on to a loop trail. It had been closed for like 3 years, and so I followed him, but the trail went cold. I figured that Mark took a shortcut, so I hurried up and I went up the mountain to cut him off. I figured he was below me, and I started running down the trail really fast. And I knew I was tired. I knew I was dehydrated. It was really cold, but I hurried anyway. I just did a lot of stupid stuff. And what happened is I was coming down too fast, and my big fat boot came down hard, and I hit a rock, and there was one rock that wasn't steady on the trail. And so the rock tripped and I went down hard. My foot got wedged and another rock fell on top, and it got hurt pretty bad.
At least you survived.
True. It could have been much worse. If it wasn't for Mark, I'd be a goner.
Thank you, Mr. Maxwell. Back to you, Kathy.
Action.
Thanks, John. Now I have an exclusive interview with Mark. So Mark, your teacher credits you with saving his life. Why do you think this is so?
Well, all I did was make a camp and give him some food. I was prepared for anything, thanks to Mr. Survival Man. I really did what any good person would do.
And who did the tool actually belong to?
Oh, my friend Jason Fraser.
And you took the blame?
I guess so.
Very touching. And that's a word for Mark.
Thanks, Kathy. Before we close out, we have some survival tips from Mr. Survival. Surviving a whole night in the woods is not something most kids will be able to do, especially with a wounded adult. Here is his best advice. Dress right for the weather, carry a space blanket, which can make you either warmer or cool you down. Carry at least 2 water bottles, 5 or 6 energy bars, and 2 or 3 regular candy bars. Bring iodine drops to purify water. Have at least 2 ways to make a fire, plus a fire starter. A magnesium striker block is excellent because matches can get wet and lighters can rust. Finally, bring a compass, a pocket knife, a waterproof flashlight or headlamp, a loud whistle, Band-Aids, duct tape, magnifying glass, and a roll of strong, light cord. All right, that's all for today. I'm Patrick Aabram, and this is United News.